Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and in this video I'll be using Tonic Studio's latest craft box. It would be numbered 45, but I don't think they're continuing with the numbering system. So this one's called Serendipitous Purse Box. And I'm not actually using any of the cardstock or Nuvo products that came in the kit. I'll really just only be using the dies because I'm going to be making a mini album using the purse die. And really, I should call this a micro album because it is fairly small. But if you take the main purse die and you die cut so that you just have, you just trim off the sides. So you have the full bottom piece, the full front, and the top closure piece. Everything else you can trim off. And you'll need two pieces like that. One for the front cover and one for the back cover. Then to decorate the front of my box, I've got one of the two Verso dies that cuts out this really beautiful pattern here. And one thing about this Verso die, usually the Tonic Verso dies do not have an inside cutting edge or an outside cutting edge. This one, however, does have the inside cutting edge. So keep that in mind. And if you want to die cut a piece just like this, you'll need to combine it with the outer cutting edge and use the two in combination. But I actually like the look of having the inside of this be solid, so I'm actually going to inlay that aperture piece that fell out of the die cut right back in, because I'll be giving this mini album away as a gift, and I think that sort of area is perfect for maybe putting the first initial of the person that I'll be giving this to. So it'll sort of be monogrammed in a way. So I think that's a really nice backdrop to add a monogram. So that's our front cover complete, and what would normally be the bottom of your box, I'll be using as the spine of my mini album or micro album. And I'm gonna wrap the front cover around so that when you, that'll be on the outside, so that when you look at the mini album from the front, you'll see a nice rounded edge, and instead of a raw edge from the back cover. So using some liquid adhesive, I'll glue these two pieces together, and that should create a really sturdy spine. I am only using 80-pound weight paper because it is such a small album. I don't think I need to use anything like a chipboard. So I think this will be a really fast, easy gift, and the whole project really comes together really fast because I'm not even creating a special hinge system or anything like that. The spine piece does end up being 1.25 inches, so I'll end up having 4 page signatures, and for my page signatures, I'm using that very same purse die, the main one, to create my pages. So my pages are going to be the same size as my cover. Initially, I thought I might use the outline die for the matte layer, but as you can see, when I put my 2x3 sort of photo template piece right over there, a 2x3 photo will not fit on that matte layer, and so I definitely want to at least be able to fit a 2x3 photo. So for my pages, I'm just using that same purse die, but I don't need the full bottom piece. I only need it to extend 1/4 inch so that I have a little hinge that I can then attach to the spine. Then I'll need for each of my page signatures, I'll need a second piece, which is really just going to be the front of your purse. So you don't need any of the side, any of the top, or the bottom of that piece, so you can just trim all of that away, and that's going to get adhered to the back of this so that both sides of your page signature have that really nice professional cut edge. This is a sheet of Tyvek wristbands, and if you've seen any of my mini album videos before, you know I use this a lot, but I don't think I've ever shown how it comes. So it's sold in sheets like these that have 10 wristbands to a sheet. They're mostly cut through so that it's still attached if you want to run this through a printer and print something on the wristband, but you can still tear it because it's literally only being held together by small little threads every half inch or so. So to use it, you would just tear it apart. And even though the material is tear resistant, you can very easily cut through it. And what I'm going to do is use it to actually reinforce the little page hinge. And because it's tear resistant, it's really nice for reinforcing anything that's interactive or gets bent back and forth a lot, because even if your cardstock does start to crack or tear, the Tyvek should keep everything together. So I've already started by putting a couple strips of dry adhesive tape on my page base, and I ran a line both on the glue tab as well as right on the opposite side of that score line, and then I've got another line of adhesive tape that is on the opposite edge of the Tyvek strip. That way I've got adhesive completely edge to edge along the length of this. However, I did use a little bit of liquid adhesive, as you saw, because while the dry adhesive is a nice instant stick, the liquid adhesive is going to be a nice permanent bond. So as I mentioned, the Tyvek wristbands you can buy in a variety of colors, and I bought this one because I only had white and black before, because usually that's what I use as my page bases. But I have a project in mind where I want to create a more vintagey album, and I was thinking about using craft card, and I wanted to get some strips that were a little bit closer to the craft color. I don't really think this one hits the mark. It's a little bit more of a rust color. It looks a little bit more leathery. So not quite hitting the mark there, but it's still a nice cover. And I think against this cream colored page base, it works pretty well. So for the piece that I am adhering here, you saw me go off camera. That was because I just wanted to trim that bottom edge enough so that when I glue this down, it doesn't overlap that hinge or that fold at all. So you just want to trim enough so that it's just going to butt up right against the score line and not go over it at all. And that way you can still fold that page down nicely. I already have my other 3 pages created in exactly the same way as I showed you on camera here. And so in total, I'll have 4 page bases for a total of 8 pages front and back. And as I mentioned, I'm not creating any sort of fancy hinge. I'm just going to use this glue tab to adhere it to the spine. And these pages are so small, I'm not going to add a lot of dimension to it, so I don't think it's going to be carrying much weight at all. So I think this should be, sufficient to keep these pages in. And what I'm going to do is actually position the glue tab so that it's facing the back of the album, because you will be able to see that color. So that's why when I was applying my Tyvek strips, I made sure to really try to get all the way to the edge so that it does look a little bit more intentional and by design. And in fact, when I had the afterthought to convert the closure to a magnetic closure, I used some of that same Tyvek so that I would have some of that same color on the closure as well, which makes it look even more kind of built into the design of the album. So as I did before, I'm going to use a combination of dry adhesive tape as well as a liquid adhesive. And so as you can see, I'm just trying to make sure everything's nice and trimmed so that it fits really nicely, and as well it all lines up straight and even. So you want to make sure that as you put your pages down, you can use the top and bottom to make sure that the page is lining up with the covers, because they are the exact same size. And so I'll go ahead and get all of these in. And as I mentioned, the spine itself is 1¼ inches, and we have 4 pages with 1/4 inch tabs. So you should have plenty of space to fit all 4 pages and still have a little bit of room between your front cover and your first page. So everything here should fit really nicely. And of course, be sure you're burnishing along the way. And basically that's the album complete. So this whole project came together really, really fast. Although I may go back and add some photo corners or make some pockets so that it's easy to slip a photo in. Because whenever I make these mini albums as gifts to give, I like to make it really easy for whoever receives it to just cut their photos down and slip the photos in, so that they don't need to do much more work other than that, or have to buy anything special like photo corners or photo safe adhesive or anything like that. So that might be the last finishing touch that I do to this. But basically, if you want to keep your closure really simple, all you need to do is just tie a ribbon right through those little holes that are die cut, and that is basically the album complete. So you can see it's really super cute, really fast project to put together, and it'll fit a nice 2x3 photo. So I think Instax's mini photos are roughly that size. They might be a little bit larger, but I think wallet size photos come in 2x3. So this might be a fun little album just to keep in your purse, sort of like a brag book, or maybe keep on your desk at work if you want to kind of share photos with your coworkers, of your kids. So thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, commenting, and sharing. And if you want to catch future videos, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get a notification whenever I post new videos to my channel. Thanks again, and until my next video, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.